Hey, what's going on, guys? The Collector393 back with another YouTube video today. What's going on, YouTube? This is going to be our first ever podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to be talking about a lot of different topics. We'll get on one after another. We'll just talk about them. I'm not going to cut anything out of this video, so if we mess up or something, just make it a laugh. This is just going to be raw footage. I'm just going to upload whatever we got because we don't have a lot of time to really do it over. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're two subscribers away from 100. So I'm sitting here with K Trueblood, also known aka Miss Collector if you're on my stream. I'll link my stream down in the description if you guys want to go follow that as well. But we're gonna get into some topics. She's a little bit nervous. I'm used to being on camera. Let me turn my audio down a little bit. Okay. So I'm used to being on camera. She's not really used to being on camera. So unless it's the stream,
which is kind of different.
Yeah. So okay. So we're gonna get into some topics. This is our first ever podcast, so we're just gonna try and jump into it. What do you want to talk about first? We have a couple.
You're the host.
Yeah, we have a couple.
I'm just the guest star.
We have a couple different topics to talk about. We'll start off with We'll go back and forth because she plays different games than I do. So, she'll put her input in on my games if she's seen me play them, or, if she's seen anything about them, I'll put input on her game. So we'll start with a smaller topic first, and then we'll end the podcast with a bigger topic. So let's start with Binding of Isaac Plus. We'll start with Binding of Isaac Plus. I'm not a big...
my face light up YouTube.
I'm not a big Binding of Isaac player. But, let's get into it. So, what we did, she used to play Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, on PS4, correct?
And sometimes on Xbox.
That's correct. But recently we've gotten the new Nintendo Switch, and she's been playing Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. So, tell me really what's the difference? Like, go ahead, because this is your game, so you tell me what you think the difference is.
There's a lot of differences. They added so many new items, so many new bosses. The hardest boss used to be Hush, but now it's the Void, which I finally beat last night, which is so awesome.
Claps.
I know. He's hard to beat because the thing is that, like, with Hush, it started off as just like a little character, and then it transforms into this huge character, and then it just stays that character. With the Void, he transforms to like all the different bosses in the game combined, and it's shooting bullets like everywhere, and you just have to keep dodging them, and it's hard to pick up on the movements because it keeps changing to different bosses, so you can't really predict what's going on. So you have to be really overpowered to beat that boss. A lot of new items. They're pretty awesome. I'm having to look up a lot of the stuff because I have to rememorize the new items and stuff like that. But
I mean, the way that I feel like it, like, she tried to get me into Binding of Isaac, and I'm a first person shooter. I'm an FPS player, so I'm used to people in front of me, or if I turn, it's in first person. So if you haven't played Binding of Isaac, it's in third person. So you really have to look all around you in Binding of Isaac when people are shooting at you, and I'm not good. I haven't got those skills down yet to kind of do it. So I made it on the first with Isaac. I made it all the way to the end where I was gonna fight the final boss, and it kills you. The thing that I hate about it is there's no checkpoints. It's so hard to freaking...
That's what makes him mad, is when he dies, you have to start all over from the beginning.
It's annoying.
There's no checkpoints, there's no redos. It's just starting from scratch all over again. Which, sometimes it becomes frustrating because sometimes I'll get, like, really good items and become really overpowered, and then I'll get to this one room and it just fucks me over and I die, and then I'm like, son of a bitch, because I was doing really good, but... That's the only downfall about Binding of Isaac, but that's the thing I love, though, is that it makes it so challenging. Yeah. I love the challenge about it. That's why that game never gets boring to me, because every single run is different, every character is different, you get different items and different bosses every single time. So it's like playing a new game every single time you play. And also, with the Afterbirth Plus, they added on a harder mode, and they added on a greedier mode. And so far, I have not been able to beat greedier mode, or did I maybe with one character? I did with one character, but other than that, I'm really struggling with greedier mode. It's really challenging and very hard. So I'm going to have to keep working at that to finally beat that, because that's really challenging, actually. Even for somebody like me that plays all the time. So that's a good thing that they added to Afterbirth Plus, is for the people that play all the time. They added on even harder levels and harder challenges to keep us more intrigued in the game and make us want to play more because it's more challenging. So I really enjoy it.
Also, I'm going to say, if you guys keep seeing me look this way and not looking right at the camera, it's because I'm looking at what we're recording on. So if my eyes kind of wander over, that's the reason why. But yeah, like I said, Binding of Isaac isn't my cup of tea. I wish that I could have more time to, play it and get used to it. It just makes me rage all the time.
He gets so pissed at it.
Because I get all the way to the end and there's no checkpoint. And I'm like, dude, I got to start all the way over. I mean, it's like, even like when you play like Call of Duty or something, and we'll get on this topic in a minute for Call of Duty, but when you play Call of Duty or something like that, like, if you're doing the campaign, if you get to a checkpoint and you die after the checkpoint, you go back to the checkpoint. It's very hard for me not to have a checkpoint.
Well, also the thing is that you have to keep playing more, because the more you play, the more you get used to the enemies and the bosses, and you can predict their shots, and you know how to dodge them based off of how they shoot. Like, some enemies shoot diagonal, while some just shoot perpendicular.
Yeah, but then also there's
some have laser beams, some, it just depends.
I mean, but then also, like, she'll be sitting here when I'm streaming, and she'll be like, I can't predict the movement. You always do that, you remember? Sometimes yeah.
Like the newer bosses that they added, like I was talking about, like with the Void, you cannot predict that shit because he keeps transforming into something else. So there's no possible way to predict what's going to happen. A lot of enemies they added are new. They added like this mushroom character, and some of them shoot diagonal, some of them shoot sideways and up and down. So it just depends, and it's just, and also the floor for the Void. It's so awesome. Like, you have multiple different boss rooms that you have to beat before even going to the Void. So it's really cool. I really like it. I feel like the most OP character right now is, I can't say its name. It's like Azazel.
Don't look at me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Azazel. You guys know what I'm talking about. The one that you start off with.
If they play Binding of Isaac, yeah.
With the brimstone beam. And that character is really awesome. If you pick up Monstro's Lung, oh my god, it just becomes so OP. I fucking love it. Because then it shoots out like five or six different brimstone beams at once. Or if you pick up what's the name of it? I can't think of it right now, but it's like a cat head, and it's an active item, and you can push that in the room, and it shoots out the brimstone beams all around the character. So that's also makes it OP.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
I love that.
We're gonna move on. She loves it. I have no commentary for it, but when I get into Call of Duty, I'm pretty sure she won't have a lot of commentary.
No.
Let me see. Let's talk about something that we can both go back and forth on, which is the new Super Mario Galaxy. So if you guys don't know, if you have the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, the Super Mario Galaxy is going to be coming out at the end of the year. It's probably going to be November, December of this year. And I've seen a lot of different gameplay on it. From they had E3 stuff, and they had they've had trailers and stuff like that. So what is your take on it? Have you seen anything relating to anything towards it?
I'm excited for it.
Is that it? Like, you haven't seen anything?
Not too much, no. But my thing is that I played a lot of Mario games growing up. And it's kind of going to be similar to the Mario 64 that was on the Nintendo 64. I don't know if some of you remember that or played that. But I really enjoyed that game, and that's kind of like what this is, but like a modernized version of it.
From what I watched, it was like it's kind of weird because I remember playing it not as much on the 64 days, but I mean, I did play it on the 64 days. But then, you know, you got to like the Wii, you know, and then it had like where, you know, you were, it was the same concept. I played,
Oh, you're talking about Mario Galaxy?
No. I'm saying that like from Game Boy and 64.
Yeah.
You know, it was like that, and then you go to the Wii where it had it where you can walk around like the world, you know, how you would, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about Mario Galaxy.
I guess that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Anyway.
Mario Galaxy was the one where you go in the different planets and you can walk around.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of that one.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that, sorry,
seemed,
somebody's calling me. Anyway.
I wasn't a big fan of that one because it just seemed really, I don't know, kiddish and really,
I didn't like that, how you can move around all different directions.
No.
I like going in one specific, like, the 2D just across the screen.
It wasn't my style.
That's what I'm saying, though. But then also, like, the Super Mario Galaxy, from what I've seen, it's like an open world. You know what I'm saying? You know how you're used to the levels where you just go across, like, in the 2D and you grab the flag and stuff?
Well, see, you're talking about regular Mario. Now, this is more like a Nintendo 64, like, Super Mario, or like the Mario Sunshine game on GameCube. It's like one of those.
What? Yeah, so it doesn't... Yeah, well...
It's not a level
that's
Mario by any means.
Right, but the thing... For the Super Mario Galaxy, like, what I've seen is, like, he's going through the city, you know, and then he can use his hat as, like, a boomerang, or if he throws it in midair, he can hop on it and make it to different buildings. Yeah. I haven't really seen a lot of gameplay. I mean, don't quote me on this, but I haven't seen a lot of gameplay where it's... you know, levels of like back 64 and Game Boy days where it's just you go through the levels. You know what I'm talking about?
No, they didn't have that for 64. So the level ones where you go through the different levels,
right?
That was on Game Boy, and then they didn't come out again till the Wii.
Oh, okay.
On 64, you had the Mario 64, which it was kind of like an open world, you know, you had different tasks you had to do, and like it was a fun game. That's
kind of what they're getting back to, then.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. It's kind of going back to where
you went through like different doors that you went into different worlds, and you had different objectives to do in that world.
That's kind of how this is going to be. I feel like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Then GameCube came out with Super Mario Sunshine, which
I don't remember that one.
Which, again, you go through different like worlds and you have different objectives and stuff like that. It's like 64, you had to collect like so many stars in different worlds by accomplishing the objectives for those stars. Super Mario Sunshine was kind of the same concept. And then when the Wii came out, I never got the Mario Galaxy because I wasn't a fan, like I said, of how you go around the planets, and because my brothers had that game and I saw them play it. Not a fan. But I got the regular Super Mario game for the Wii where you go through the different levels, like it was on the Game Boy. That was fun.
I liked that one.
And I liked how you could play with up to 4 people
on
that one. That was really cool, and I used to love to throw people off and kill them, but that's a whole other story.
Vicious.
My mom would get so
Anyway,
She's
we're gonna move away from that, the dark alley.
And then now, I don't know what they had. Oh, well, for the Wii U, they came out with the Super Mario Maker, which that was a really cool idea because you have your ordinary, everyday people making these Mario course levels to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And they were ranked in different like levels, so it was like easy, medium, hard, super hard, whatever, and you can choose which ones you want to play or whatever, and it says like how many people had beat it and the percentage of beating it or whatever, because some are like super like impossible, and it's just cool to see like how these people created these different things and how they mapped it out, and like it's just really cool. I don't think you've seen that.
I don't think I've played it,
but it's different.
So, but I'm like, so...
And now that the Switch came out, now they're coming out with kind of like a Mario Sunshine type of deal again, where you're going to have different objectives and stuff like that.
Kind of like that, yeah. Because when I looked at it, like, when they showed in the city, and I'm not sure what you do in the city. Like they really didn't show like different objectives in the city. But then I saw like another part which was from E3, where he like teleported to a different area. Like it's kind of like a door. You know how you go through the doors. You'll teleport. You'll teleport to a different area, and then you'll have certain objectives in that area to do. But I feel like the city, even though you might have some that probably where you're going to start is in the city.
See, there's usually like how the games work, at least like for the Mario 64 and the Sunshine. There's a starting world where
that's
like
what I think the city is.
Yeah,
that's what I think the city is. Yeah.
And then you go to these different places to do different things.
See that's what I'm saying, because they showed like when I haven't seen a lot of it, and you've seen a lot less than I have. So
the footage I've seen, it looks just like Mario 64.
Yeah. So like the most of the stuff that I saw was was him sitting in the city. And then he'd run around the city. It didn't show any objectives or anything. It just showed him running around the city, and he'd go on rooftops, and it'd show how he uses his hat to jump to a different rooftop. And then it would show, like, it would also show, like, I don't remember if it was in the city or not. No, I don't think it was, but he would go, I remember he was in a world, and he'd be running, it was third person. And he was in the world, and I'm guessing you press a button on one of on the controller, and he would take his hat off and throw it like a boomerang, and he could like break blocks, he could kill mushrooms, he could kill, stuff like that. So I feel like that the hat is, I don't know how it's going to be to incorporate, because I've never had a Mario, like in the 64 version, did you have anything like, not on your body really, that you could use? You know what I'm saying? Did you?
I don't remember, honestly. It was so long ago since I played that.
Yeah.
But I do remember, though, is that in these different worlds, there's, like, different bosses to go up against.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to have something similar to that.
They have bosses and stuff and all that kind of stuff.
And then I feel like also, like, when you have the bosses, I don't know if what I would want, is I feel like if you have the bosses, I feel like that the hat's not going to do hardly any damage to the boss. I feel like you're going to have like, because I don't know, because I didn't see, like, how you would shoot, like, you would shoot balls, you know what I'm talking about? Like in the Game Boy version, you'd shoot balls, and if you pick up the flower, you got fire.
Well, what I just remembered is...
How was it on the 64 with, like, attacking?
What I remember in the 64 is, like, when I had to battle Bowser, you had to grab his tail and swing him around.
Right, but I'm saying when you went into battle Bowser,
yeah,
the only attack move you could do was try and get to his tail and then throw him around, or did you have anything to shoot him with in 64?
I can't remember.
You can't? That's what I'm saying. So I don't know how it's going to be. I'm pretty sure that I feel like it's going to be based all off the hat. So how you pick up certain things. And I
know in Mario Sunshine, though, he had a water, like, backpack or whatever that you sprayed enemies with.
But yeah,
that was your attack move in Mario Sunshine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like instead of you, like, in Game Boy version where you shot the little balls to hit people, and then you could upgrade with make it fireballs and stuff, I feel, don't quote me on this is what I'm thinking as a gamer, is that when you have the hat, that's your main attack, and you pick up certain items to make your hat stronger. Like, your hat will be normal, like the normal balls, and then if you pick up something fire, maybe your hat's on fire and it does more damage. Or, this is just something that I think might happen from watching Mario and seeing how they developed it. But, I feel like that might actually happen where, it's your main source of attack. Or if it isn't, it just depends. I feel like it might be, though, where you pick up certain stuff in it, like having, I don't know, just something that you pick up. Like,
right.
The one I can remember was the fire,
and the other ones,
thing.
though, he could also ground pound and, like, do different things, like different flips. And
I just hate how freaking Nintendo, I hate how Nintendo, they're not like any other company, Like, Nintendo's obviously from China or Japan or whatever, And, like, in the U.S., when a company comes out with a game, there's so much footage, like so many trailers and showing a bunch of different stuff, so you know what you're getting into. I feel like Nintendo, they don't give you anything. They show you the smallest amount of shit that you can ever see, and then they are like, you better buy it if you want to see what it's like. You know, I feel like that they've been like that all the time.
What I really enjoyed was Paper Mario. I loved Paper Mario.
She says Paper Mario. I'm thinking of that game Paperboy. You remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
That little game where you're on a bike and throwing
papers. I played
papers?
Paper Mario on the
that's fun.
64. That was my favorite one. Then they came out one for GameCube. I enjoyed that one too, but I still love the 64 so much better. Then they came out with one for the Wii, and it sucked ass. Like, I don't get it. They call it Paper Mario, right? Paper.
Was it like a reboot of Paper
Listen
Mario?
to this. Paper Mario, right? Okay. Paper's 2D. Okay. 64 was 2D for Paper Mario. Okay. But the Mario 64 was 3D. Okay. Then you freaking come out with the one for GameCube. Still a 2D character. Everything's like, looks like it's made out of paper. It's a paper thing.
Mm-hmm.
Come out with the Wii. They kind of make shit like half 3D, half 2D. It's
I
like
think
bullshit.
it was
And I'm like, this is not a true traditional Paper Mario, and it ruined it for me. I played it for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, this sucks. I cannot play it no more.
Two things about that.
It ruined it for me.
Two things about that, and then we're probably going to move on.
Very disappointing.
Okay, the two things about off of what she said. So, let me see. I feel like when they did that for the Wii, that's when everything was starting to go into the HD kind of, you know, like they're trying to do better quality, you know, that was the transition to better. I remember that was like during the time of Ghost for Call of Duty, and I remember it was transitioning from regular video audio to HDMI, you know, higher quality.
It didn't make sense to me though, because like I said, like the 64, you had Super Mario 64, which everything was more interactive, more 3D, more like all around. But they always kept the paper 2D because it's paper. It's supposed to be like a 2D world. And then Wii comes out and they're trying to make it kind of like 3D, 2D-ish. You could like flip the walls into like a 3. It's just weird. I don't like it.
And then also
Very
another thing off of that before we get off this topic is that every lifespan of a game, like mine is Call of Duty. You know, yours is a couple different ones. You know,
Yeah.
obviously Super Mario is a big one for you.
Yeah.
But in the lifespan of video games for like when you come out with something, so like Super Mario, or for me, it's Call of Duty. Obviously, I have Call of Duty poster there. It's Call of Duty. So I can count in the span of the life of Call of Duty. I've been alive for every single Call of Duty, and I've played every single Call of Duty since Call of Duty, the first one. Okay, there's bound to be some crappy Call of Duties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Call of Duty, you know, obviously that was back in the day when there was no graphics. You know, then Call of Duty 2, great game, loved the S&D. Call of Duty 3, it was kind of a miss. Like, it was okay, but and then they came back strong with Call of Duty 4. Then they have Black Ops. That, you know, they had a lot of good ones, but then it came out, you know, like, when they're a big company like that, they try and give you what you want, you know? And sometimes they want to do their own creative thing, and that's when Ghost came out, and I was like, you know what, I'm not a big fan of Ghost, even though that was the transition from regular video audio to HDMI. You know, I wasn't a big fan of it, except for the S&D. I just love S&D, but like the transition of how it was going to be, you know, how it was going to play out, and it was just, the guns were, you know, I only liked really one of the snipers and maybe one or two of the guns. And then, again, then we went into freaking like AW, the boosting and everything, and people really didn't like it, and then they came out with Black Ops 3 and they nailed it, you know, and everybody loved Black Ops 3, but then most recently Infinite Warfare, there was so many people that hated it, and then everybody's like, we need to go back to the basics, and they're finally going back to the basics with World War II.
What's hard for me is that since I was born in the 90s and growing up with like the lower graphics, that's what I'm used to. So them trying to like modernize everything to an extreme is just too much. It's too much for me, and it just kind of ruins the gameplay for me. I really like that older style of a video game.
You know what I saw that's gonna, I don't know if this will make you happy or not. You remember the game, Game Box Atari?
Yeah.
Remember that? They're coming out with a brand new Atari system. It's called Atari Box.
Yeah.
And it is just gonna have all the old school, like, you know, stuff you played in the arcade. It's gonna have Space Invaders and all that all on it. And then they're also saying they're gonna modernize and make new games for it. You know, so they're coming out with an actual new Atari console that'll play all the old games, but then they're also going to add new ones, you know. I thought it looked pretty cool. You can get either, you know, they only showed 2 boxes and it's very secretive. They're not talking about a lot of stuff like innovation or anything, but one of the boxes was you can get the wood panel finish on the front if you wanted to, or the other one, it was like a glass on the front and the Atari symbol turned red, you know. So they haven't showed a lot about that, but I did see that on Twitter the other day, and I thought that'd be pretty cool to actually see, you know, for it to come out. And I mean, it shouldn't be too much, you know. It's not like crazy like an Xbox or a PS4, so
I don't know, it's just like sometimes too modernized is just, it ruins it for me. Like how they came out with the Mario Galaxy and it's like you can go all around the world and stuff. It's just too much. It's too much. It's just I didn't like the layout of it. You know, they thought it'd be cool to go around the world. I didn't like how it looked. It was just too, I don't know.
That's the same thing.
I like simplicity when I'm playing my games. Like the simplicity of the layout. It feels better than, you know, like all this 3D shit.
I feel like, you know, with it's the same thing with, what's it called? I just lost my train of thought here. It's the same thing with me with Call of Duty. So I was so used to boots on ground ever since Call of Duty, you know, and they moved on to NAW boosting, and I'm
trying to make it
like
more
boosting and like and sliding,
sometimes.
and I'm like, and you know, I'm a very good Call of Duty player, but I'm used to boots on ground, not people jumping in the air and freaking sliding and killing me. So I was like, I'm not a fan. And I mean, I do enjoy Black Ops 3 once I got used to it. But I would still rather have boots on ground because that's what I'm used to.
It's the same thing though, like the kids that were born in the 2000s now, like the mid to late 2000s, are used to this modernization. So if they play our games from like 64 and GameCube,
they're like, this is crap.
They're like, this is shit. Like these graphics are terrible and all that. But it's like, that's what we're used to, so seeing the modernized version just sucks for us.
Exactly.
But for them, seeing the older version would suck for them.
We're just in that in between.
Feeling old.
We're not super old, but we can see the transformation.
Yeah, definitely.
You know. All right, we got 2 more topics. We'll try and whiz through them. We'll do Mario Kart first.
Yes.
And then I'll end with the new Call of Duty.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll call it.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about Mario Kart. She can start out. You can be the host for this one because I played Mario Kart a long, long time ago, and I haven't played as soon as Xbox, or actually when my first PlayStation came out. The first PlayStation, the you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
That had like, what was it? Twisted Metal. That was I love that game, you know? And you know, I'm not really used to Mario Kart. Oh, another thing, Twisted Metal is getting remastered. I wanted to say that, and I watched it, and it's like when you are used to something very old, like back in the first, you know, PlayStation days. I remember the graphics being terrible, and you had to really kind of try to play against people, and it was, you know, but now they're remastering it, and I'm like, the graphics are amazing, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm a fan.
Yeah, because you're so used to the older version.
I would rather go out right now, spend $60 on a PlayStation, and spend like $5 on the old Twisted Metal.
It was the same thing though, like with Smash Brothers, right? They had Smash Brothers on the 64. Then they came out with the GameCube. The GameCube one is way better than the 64 one. They did upgrade there. Loved the GameCube one. Came out with one for the Wii. Okay, that fucking sucked. I did not like the Wii one. It was too much.
Easy on the F-bombs.
Huh?
Easy on the F-bombs.
I cuss?
You said F like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Shh. I don't want to get flagged for this. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just thought it was funny. Sorry. She said it like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, man, if you say it too much, this video probably won't go live.
Sorry, you too.
Okay, anyway, let's move on because we were stuck on that.
No, well, I wanted to finish
Finish it. Go ahead. Hurry up.
The Wii one just kind of sucked with the new levels and the new items, and the controls were different, and I'm just like, this is just, go back to GameCube.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move to Mario Kart. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I have something to throw on while we're talking about it. So you can start first, and then I'll end with my answer to you.
Okay, going back. Nintendo 64, I played Mario Kart. Okay. I can't play it on the 64 anymore because it's like, it moves so slow. Like, it feels like the carts just take forever.
Well, since you played it on the
around.
Switch, obviously it's different.
No.
From
this
what,
was before
GameCube?
the Switch, from GameCube. Because I was like, well, I haven't played the 64 one for a while, so why not try it, you know? And I'm trying it, I'm like, I can't play this, it moves so slow. So they did upgrade it from the 64 to the GameCube really good. GameCube came out, excuse me, and that Mario Kart was really good.
I think I played I don't know if I started out on 64. I might have started out on GameCube.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I might have played, like, in my friend's house. He had a 64, and he's like, "You want to play it?" And I might have played a couple games of it, but I'm pretty sure my bulk of playing Mario Kart was probably on the GameCube.
Yeah. So then the GameCube one came out, and they had 50cc, 100cc, 150cc, and then after you unlock all those, then you get the mirror version, which is like the mirrored version of all the courses. Or
Also,
whatever.
let me cut off. If you guys don't play Mario Kart, what she just said about the CCs, that's how fast you go. If you guys are not familiar with Mario Kart, that's how fast you go. The higher the number, the faster your kart's going to go.
That's how fast your cart goes,
Yep.
and how fast your components go. Or opponents, sorry.
Yeah,
Opponents.
well, yeah, at the same time, yeah. So,
Yeah.
if you're at 150cc, you're both going the same speed.
Yeah, so it's more challenging because your opponents
Man,
can really fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm
Will you
so
knock it off? Oh my
sorry.
goodness, this won't be able to go live. They'll probably flag it.
Are you serious?
Anyway, I don't think you can say the F word more than like 10 times.
Can you bleep it out?
I don't know if I can. I'll try. Anyway.
YouTube, please don't flag me. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so let's push up to the
the
modernized version. I don't think, I mean, to be honest with you, if I make it like mature or something, I don't think they could flag me.
I have such a
But
potty
anyway, so up to the newer version. So I remember when I was playing, like, me and her did a stream. I don't remember. It was like a month ago or something.
When we did our couch stream.
Yeah. So if you guys never seen that one, a lot of people want us to do another one, so we might. But she beats me every time. Every time, because, you know, I'm not used to playing it. I beat her once and nobody was watching, so happy about that. But anyway, I just remember, like, I remember when we race, it's usually 100cc, isn't it? And then when we go up, did you go up to 150?
I did.
And then
I don't like
I couldn't handle it. I could not handle how, like, it wasn't even her. It was just the computer was just screwing me, you know, and it was ridiculous. So, I mean, go ahead and talk from the GameCube version to the new Mario Kart.
Okay, so what I noticed, with the Switch version is that it feels like they kind of created imaginary boundaries a little bit. It's harder to fall off in the Switch. Like in the GameCube, you could fall off like boom, 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 boom on every single corner, especially like the rainbow courses and stuff like that, where it had no boundaries.
I fall no matter what.
It seems like you're just falling off all the time, you know? And it's like with this one, it seems like they kind of created a little bit of imaginary boundaries to make it a little more harder to fall off. And also, I noticed when you fall off on this new version that you picked up right away. It doesn't have a bunch of delay like in the GameCube. If you fell off, it was taking a long time.
You'd pretty much be at the end.
You would go from freaking fourth place all the way to the last, and it took forever. Now, if you fall off, you only go a couple places back because it brings you back right away. So it's kind of an advantage. It's kind of a good thing, but then kind of a bad thing.
It's a good
if
upgrade.
You really want to mess up your opponent though, like if you were like, I'm gonna knock you off, and then you'll be
Can you
last.
knock off on Mario Kart though? Like the new one? Have you knocked people off?
Yeah, you can push them to the side or hit them with something and mess them up, you know? Or like when you're turning corners, you can kind of bump into them.
Oh yeah, and they kind of slide off. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But it's like they don't really fall behind that far now because it picks you up right away.
I also want to say is most of the races that we played that day, I almost always came in second, which I'm kind of proud about.
That wasn't really
Yeah, it was
to
necessary.
say,
It was
but,
necessary.
One of the things that I kind of dislike from the GameCube to the new one is that in the GameCube, you picked 2 different characters to ride in a car with you. And you can switch back and forth. So you can hold 2 different items at the same time and switch your characters to choose which one you want to use first or choose which one you want to hold on to. And with this one, you just have the one character again, and you can just carry one item at a time and use it. You know what I mean? So that was a little different. I was used to using that as my advantage of having 2 different characters and 2 different items that I can rotate through.
This is the thing also, I can't remember on the GameCube version, we're going to wrap this up so I can talk about World War II. But on the GameCube version, did it have it where if you had bananas or something and you held a button, did it block you still on the GameCube?
Yes.
So they had it back then to where it was annoying.
Yes. Yes.
Because that made me so mad. That makes me so mad.
He gets mad because I'll pick up like a banana or like a green turtle shell or something and hold it behind my cart. So if he throws a red shell at me or anything at me, it will not hit me because I'm blocking it.
I am going to say, though, you were impressed at how good my shot is from playing Mario Kart.
Because the green turtles, they don't lock on to somebody like the red turtles do. So you have to kind of have your aim on point. His aim is on point. I will give him that.
That's a FPS gamer right there.
Yeah, he's good at that. But
not much else.
Yeah, not much else. Oh, another thing. So on GameCube, what was cool is that it had courses from the Nintendo 64 and from like the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, they have the same thing on Mario Kart.
And then they have the same thing for the Switch now.
Yeah.
It brought back the GameCube courses.
They have the Wii courses in there too.
Some of the Wii courses.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I like that. I like those throwbacks. So I think we talked enough about Mario Kart though.
Okay.
I think we can move on.
We're gonna move on to our last topic.
Which is probably what all you guys have been waiting for.
Yeah, everybody's probably waiting to see what my insight on World War II. The only reason I saved it to the end, because obviously you guys are going to have to watch all, unless you skip through it, which you guys probably will. But you don't know that I was going to talk about it, so it's kind of, if you hung out for this long, thank you, I appreciate it.
You didn't know you were going to talk about it. You said in the beginning.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Dang it. Oh, well, okay, well, they have to now. They don't know when I was going to say it, though. I didn't say I was going to say it at the end, so, okay, all right. So we're going to talk about Call of Duty World War II. She's probably not going to have a lot of input on this. But also she had a rant on Binding of Isaac and, Mario Kart,
stuff, yeah.
So, we went back and forth about Super Mario Odyssey. So, Call of Duty World War II. What I've played so far, what I've seen from E3, what I've played at E3, stuff like that. Everybody's been asking me, if you guys go to a later video on my YouTube, I have something talking about all the different E3 stuff and what I thought about it, but I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you. So, Sledgehammer Gaming is making Call of Duty World War II. Everybody was psyched when they heard that it was boots on ground, since we've had 3 Call of Duties of it being, boosting. I'm very excited about it. Definitely going to try and play a lot more UMGs and stuff like that. Some of the pros and cons I've seen, just like from the other YouTube video about me talking about it, these are some of the pros and cons. So I'll tell you guys all the different weapons I played with, and then we'll talk about all this. So this is all of it right now. Here we go. So M1 Garand, they have the Thompson, they have the MP40, they have the Springfield Sniper, they have the Bazooka. The pistol is I think it's the M911 still. One of the pistols I played with it's definitely the M911 and stuff like that. Different stuff for like score streaks. They obviously have a UAV. They have it's kind of like I would say an airstrike, stuff like that. And then what else? I'm trying to think. The maps are pretty much really good choreographed from what I played at E3. 3-lane system, just like it always is. So let's break down some of the weapons, some of the score streaks and stuff like that, and, that'll be it. So some of the weapons. The M1 Garand is the number 1 weapon that everybody remembers. If you guys have played World at War, M1 Garand was like one of the number 1 weapons to use. The M1 Garand in here, when I played it from the World at War till now, It's a little bit shakier. I feel like that there's a lot more bounce to it than it was when it was the M1 and Call of Duty World at War. But it's still manageable. I feel like they might kind of buff it to where it's have a little bit less kick, a little bit less sway, from left to right. But overall, not a bad weapon. Thompson, still a machine. I had no problems using it. The sway wasn't really too bad. Just an overall good gun. You can also with the Thompson, you can either have the normal clip, which is just the normal clip, or if you do the extended clip, which is the the add-on for it, you get the big drum barrel for the extended clip, which is awesome about that. What else? MP40, about the same. I feel like the MP40 holds a little bit more ammo now though in the clip than it did back in the day, but still pretty much works all the same. Springfield Sniper. This is one thing that I really wanted to talk about. The sway on the sniper, I mean, obviously if you're holding your breath, the sway on the sniper back and forth is a little bit different than when you're not holding your breath. But if you're not holding your breath and you're trying to get a steady aim without holding your breath and trying to kill somebody, you better be used to that sway back and forth, because it really goes back and forth when you're trying to snipe. A couple more things and then we're going to wrap it up, because she can't even really relate to this. But, it's okay. She's just sitting there being pretty. Anyway, over to the score streaks. One of my favorite things about the score streaks is that when you're doing like a, what is it? It's not like a Hellstorm. I don't know what the name of it is, but when you bring up the map, how you brought up the map on like BO3 and stuff like that, it'd be like an electronic map, or even at World at War, it was kind of like, a little bit more modernized. I like how when you pull up the map in World War II, it's an old school, it's a paper map. Like, it's awesome. It's
kind of like how it would be back in World War II.
Exactly. It's
really
exactly
cool.
Like they equipped it to exactly like World War II. It's not more modernized. It's not like you pull open, whatever. But like,
staying true to
they're staying
time
exactly,
era.
Exactly, very, very true to the time period. And when you open it, it's not like you just pull it out and you open it like this. When you click it to open it to use your supply drop or whatever, you actually have to unfold it.
That's cool.
Like, it was super cool. It was super cool how you actually have to unfold the page instead of it just popping up. How sometimes
like
where it
just
just pops up.
Yeah.
What in the older Call of Duties, you would just pull it out and it'd be popped up. In this one, it doesn't take that long to open it up, but the fact that they added that where you can open it up, it takes seconds to open it up. It's not like you have to sit there for a while and do it, but I thought it was very cool and very true to to World War II.
All I know
because
is
of that.
Super excited for this game.
Very excited for it. A couple more things and then we're going to end it here. We're going to talk about different things that I have seen and stuff like that, I've heard about. There is going to be ranked gameplay. So if you guys played on BO3, which is the most common game, or the most recent game that you would see ranked, what ranked is it's a pretty much it's a leaderboard. You, instead of just playing regular pub matches or public matches, you go into ranked with 4 other people, and in BO3 you would like ban and protect different things, and these were the people that really play the game and that are really good at the game. Oh, excuse me. That are really good at the game. So, you could play, and if you were on the top of the leaderboard, you were very, very good, because ranked was a harder version than just playing regular public matches. So they have that in World War II. That's going to be fun. I'm always going to be playing with my friends. Everybody's looking to want to play ranked with me, so that's going to be fun. Make my squad, make the name, and we can all just get in and play. It's going to be very fun. Another cool thing about World War II, no variants. Thank the Lord. There is no variants.
Hated the variants.
Okay, the variant, and if you guys don't know what variants are, then you're probably not a big Call of Duty fan. But variants for a weapon, like in Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare or anything, you can get a version of the regular standard gun that either shoots faster, reloads faster, has better bullet damage per second. It's just... it was
kind of like an unfair advantage.
Exactly. So if you're playing in a public, obviously if you're playing professional, then it doesn't matter because you can't use variants. But in a public match, if somebody has, I remember like in IW, like somebody had the ERAD and they had a variant of the ERAD, and they would pull the trigger, and it was a laser. It was not bullets. Okay, it was not laser bullets. Obviously, the ERAD does have, electronic bullets, but it was literally a laser, like freaking Darth Vader, and you'd press it and hold it, and all you had to do was swipe around the screen like this and just kill everybody. And if it hits you just a little bit, boom, you were dead. And it was just so bull. I hate that. I like to go into a public match, have fun, and everybody should be on the same level. Whether
it takes the challenge away from
it takes the skill set out, because I'm a very good Call of Duty player, but it takes the skill set where I'm very good, but it doesn't matter if I'm good and you're a noob, because you have a laser to shoot at me.
Well, it also sucks for people who like to play professionally, because they're not going to use the variants, because they're not going to get used to using them, because
that's what I do.
They're not going to be able to use
That's
them.
what I do.
So it's like when you're in a match like that, and they're using the variants, and you don't, because
and you're
you
using
don't
the
want to
standard
get used
gun.
To them, it gives an unfair advantage.
I mean, usually I still come out on top, just depending on how,
it just takes the fun away from
it does.
Though.
And that's why in World War II they don't have it, so it's going to be awesome. Everybody's it's just raw guns and just skill. If you're going to get a kill,
like people who
skill.
Use the variants are going to be really disappointed.
But all the people that use variants are more people like the little kids who just like were born in the 2000s, and they're used to using variants from AW and stuff like that.
I'm saying they're not going to like this new one, because now they're not going to have that advantage if they don't have the skill to par up to everybody else.
They're going to have to get better.
Get bored with it, because they're just going to keep dying.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Activision and Sledgehammer aren't going to care as long as they buy the game. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You buy it and you're like, oh, I hate this game. It doesn't really matter. You already gave me your $60, so it's whatever. What else was there? Let me think. I know there was one more thing that I forgot to mention, but I can't think about it. Gosh, it's going to drive me crazy.
The boots on ground. I
know. Everybody knows that. What is it? Ranked? Man, I'm gonna be mad at myself if I can't remember this. I probably can't remember it. I'll probably remember it right when I end this video, and it's gonna be like, But yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I really can't remember what the other two. I know there was two. Oh, Zombies was one. So Zombies was confirmed, and they are going to have Zombies. The teaser trailer is going to be in a couple days, and I'm probably going to end up watching it on my stream or something like that. So make sure you guys are here for that. So you guys can see my reaction and stuff like that. I might even make a YouTube video about the reaction. So make sure you guys watch that. I saw some pretty good gameplay on that. Another thing is also, like, everybody said, oh, there's no create-a class and stuff like that. There's just variants of the create-a class. There's ways you can do it. You can't really customize your entire class, but they're going to be like base standard weapons of all the different weapons you can use, and then there's different ways you can put stuff on. And then there's divisions. That's another thing I want to talk about. Divisions is the way the divisions are is that you pick a division, and there's base skills, and then there's skills set for that specific division. So if you hit those base skills on the division for that specific thing on the division, it's kind of like going from sleight of hands to sleight of hands pro. It's where it's like back in Modern Warfare 2 where they had sleight of hands and sleight of hands pro. It's kind of like that. The base skills the division skills for that division can only be used on that one, which are called like expert skills. The base skills, if you unlock those from doing challenges, you can use them on all the different ones. So that's another thing. We'll get more information on that and stuff like that when it comes down the line. But I think that's about it. You have anything else to say? No. Is that about it? I think we had a good time. We had a YouTube video of almost 50 minutes, so we did really make our time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Really does help the channel grow. We're going to be trying to do this more often. We might try and bring in new guests to talk about different stuff.
If you guys like this, then we'll make more.
Yeah. Like the video, and if you guys really like it, comment down below saying, do another one or, whatever. We'll try and do as much as we can to give you guys the content on the days that we're off to actually try and make these. Maybe it'll be a little bit better where I can edit it and stuff like that and make an intro. But just right now, this is our first one, so we're just kind of winging it. So hope you guys enjoyed this YouTube video, the first ever podcast for the Collector 393 stream. I want to thank K Trueblood for being here as the guest. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Really let us help the channel grow. If you guys want to see more content, make sure you hit that subscribe button yet again. And you know what? YouTube, we'll catch you later.
Bye.